Captain Li Wu-jin watched the red planet grow larger through the ship's window. His hands were steady, but his heart was heavy. Another mission. Another world where humans would die for alien masters. "Captain, we're approaching the mining colony," said Commander Kim Tae-ho from behind him. His voice was quiet and tired. They both knew what was coming. Wu-jin turned to face his men. 48 human soldiers sat in the transport ship. They wore basic armor and carried simple weapons. The aliens called them Deathworlders, a name meant to remind them they came from a dangerous planet and were good only for dangerous jobs. "Listen, up," Wu-jin said to his troops. "The Dominion says there's a rebellion on Mining Station 7. Workers are refusing to work. Our job is to make them work again." One young soldier raised his hand. "Sir, what if they're just tired? The reports say they work 18 hours a day." Wu-jin's jaw tightened. He had read the same reports. The miners were exhausted, underfed, and desperate. But the Dominion didn't care about that. "We follow orders, Private Yoon," Wu-jin said. "That's what Deathworlders do." The word tasted bitter in his mouth. For 300 years, humans had been told they were lucky to serve the great galactic Dominion. Lucky to have jobs. Lucky to be useful despite coming from a primitive death world called Earth. The ship landed with a heavy thud. Through the speakers, an alien voice spoke in the cold mechanical tone all Dominion officials used when talking to humans. "Deathworlder Unit 47, you will enter the mining facility and restore order. Expected casualty rate for your unit is 70%. This is acceptable. Any questions?" 70%. That meant 34 of his men would die today, and the aliens thought that was fine. "No questions, Control," Wu-jin replied. He had learned long ago not to argue with Dominion officials. The soldiers filed out of the ship. The mining station was a huge metal structure built into the side of a mountain. Smoke rose from several buildings. The air smelled of burning metal and fear. As they walked toward the main entrance, Tae-ho moved closer to Wu-jin. "Sir, something feels wrong about this." "What do you mean?" "Look around. No bodies, no destroyed equipment. If there was a real rebellion, wouldn't we see more damage?" Wu-jin looked more carefully. Tae-ho was right. The rebellion looked more like a peaceful protest. Workers had gathered in the main square, but they weren't carrying weapons. They were just sitting together holding signs that asked for more food and rest. "These people aren't rebels," whispered Private Park Min-soo. "They're just hungry." Before Wu-jin could respond, his radio crackled. "Deathworker Unit 47, you are taking too long. Begin suppression immediately." Wu-jin felt sick. Suppression meant violence. It meant hurting innocent people who were already suffering. "Sir?" Tae-ho was waiting for orders. Wu-jin made a decision that would change everything. Instead of attacking, he walked up to the crowd of miners and raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm Captain Li Wu-jin," he said loudly. "We're here to talk, not fight." An old miner stood up slowly. His face was thin from hunger, and his clothes were torn. "Captain, we don't want trouble. We just want enough food to feed our families, and enough rest to stay alive." "How long have you been working 18-hour shifts?" Wu-jin asked. 6 months, the old man replied. "Ever since the Dominion increased production quotas. We're so tired we can barely stand. 3 workers died from exhaustion last week." Wu-jin felt anger building in his chest. The Dominion was working these people to death, and he was supposed to force them back to work. His radio crackled again. "Unit 47, why is there no weapons fire? Begin suppression now." Wu-jin looked at his men. They were all watching him, waiting to see what he would do. These weren't soldiers trained for war. They were mechanics, farmers, and students who had been drafted into service. They didn't want to hurt innocent people any more than he did. "Unit 47, respond immediately." Instead of following orders, Wu-jin did something that surprised everyone, including himself. He turned off his radio. "Men," he said to his soldiers, "we're going to do something different. We're going to help these people." For the next 4 hours, instead of attacking the miners, Wu-jin's unit helped them organize their protest peacefully. They shared their military rations with hungry families. They used their medical supplies to treat sick workers. They listened to stories of exhaustion and desperation. By the end of the day, the mining station was calm. The workers had returned to their jobs, but only after Wu Jin promised to report their situation to higher authorities. He knew the report would be ignored, but it gave the miners hope. When the transport ship returned, Archon Velthar, a tall alien with silver skin and cold blue eyes, was waiting for them. His expression was angry. "Captain Lee," Velthar said in his mechanical voice, "you were ordered to suppress a rebellion. Instead, you negotiated. This is unacceptable." "Sir, there was no rebellion," Wu Jin replied carefully. "Just hungry workers who needed help. We restored order without violence." "Violence was required." Velthar's voice became sharper. "Deathworlders exist to fight and die. That is your purpose. By avoiding casualties, you have failed your duty." Wu Jin felt his anger growing stronger. "With respect, sir, we completed the mission successfully. The workers are back at their jobs and the station is peaceful." "Peaceful solutions are not the Deathworlder way," Velthar replied. "You will report to Conditioning Center tomorrow for attitude adjustment." That night back on the main station, Wu Jin couldn't sleep. Attitude adjustment meant brainwashing. They would try to make him more violent, more willing to hurt innocent people. He was sitting in his quarters when someone knocked on his door. It was Dr. Park Sumin, a human scientist who worked in the research section. "Captain, we need to talk," she said quietly. "About what?" "About what really happened on Mining Station 7, and about things you need to know." Dr. Park sat down and pulled out a small data pad. "I've been studying mission reports for years. Do you know what I've found?" Wu Jin shook his head. "Human units complete missions with lower casualty rates than any other species in the Dominion. We're better at problem solving, better at adapting, better at finding peaceful solutions. But these reports are always classified or destroyed. Why? Because the Dominion is afraid of us," Dr. Park said. "They know that if humans realized how capable we really are, we might start asking questions. Like why we're treated as expendable when we're actually the most effective soldiers in their army." Wu Jin stared at her. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that everything we've been told about being primitive Deathworlders is a lie. We're not the weakest species in the galaxy. We might be the strongest, and they know it." At that moment, alarms began blaring throughout the station. "Over." The speaker's Velthar's voice announced new orders that would change everything. "Attention all Deathworlder units. Effective immediately, all human children between ages 5 and 15 will be removed from family housing for enhanced conditioning. This will improve their usefulness to the Dominion. Parents who resist will be executed as traitors." Wu Jin felt something break inside him. They weren't just oppressing adults anymore, they were coming for the children. He looked at Dr. Park, and she looked back at him. Both of them were thinking the same thing. "We can't let this happen," Wu Jin said quietly. "No," Dr. Park agreed. "We can't." Outside their window, they could see Dominion guards moving toward the family housing sections. Human parents were already being dragged from their homes, their children crying as they were taken away. Captain Lee Wu Jin made his second decision of the day, and this one would change the fate of the galaxy. "Dr. Park," he said, "I think it's time we stopped playing by their rules." 3 days had passed since the Dominion took the children. Captain Lee Wu Jin walked through the human living quarters, and the silence hurt his heart. No children laughing, no families talking together, just empty halls and broken parents. He found Commander Kim Tae-ho in the maintenance tunnels under the station. Tae-ho was not alone. Engineer Choi Min-ho was there, along with 5 other humans Wu Jin had never seen before. "Captain," Tae-ho said quietly, "we need to talk." "About what?" "About fighting back." Wu Jin looked around the small group. These were ordinary people, a cook, a cleaner, 2 cargo workers, and a nurse. But their eyes were angry and determined. "This is Choi Min-ho," Tae-ho said, pointing to a thin man with grease on his hands. "He fixes all the machines on this station. He knows things." Min-ho stepped forward. "Captain, I've been working here for 10 years. I know every wire, every pipe, every system. And I know something the aliens don't." "What's that?" "Humans built most of this station. Humans maintain it. Humans fix it when it breaks. The aliens just give orders, but they don't know how anything actually works. One of the cargo workers, a woman with short hair, spoke up. I'm Yoon Ji-hai. I fly supply ships between stations. I've been carrying messages for months. Messages? From other humans. On other stations, other planets. Captain, we're not alone in this. There are humans everywhere who want to fight back, but they're waiting for someone to start. Woo Jin felt his heart beat faster. How many humans are we talking about? Ji-hai smiled for the first time in days. More than you think. I've been to 47 different worlds in the past year. On every single one, I found humans who are angry and ready. Minho pulled out a small device that looked like a broken communicator. This is how we talk to each other without the aliens knowing. I built it from spare parts. It uses frequencies the Dominion doesn't monitor. He pressed a button and a quiet voice came through the speaker. This is Station 12. 23 humans ready, waiting for signal. Another voice followed. Mining, Colony 4. 68 humans ready. Children taken yesterday. We want revenge. More voices joined in. Station after station. Colony after colony. Hundreds of humans all connected by the secret network. How long has this been going on? Woo Jin asked. 2 years, said an old man who had been quiet until now. He looked like a teacher or professor. My name is Kang Dong-soo. I used to teach human history before the Dominion decided we didn't need to know our own past. What do you mean? Professor Kang's eyes were sad but angry. Captain, what do you know about Earth? About humanity before the Dominion found us? Woo Jin thought about it. We were primitive, living on a dangerous world. The Dominion rescued us and gave us purpose. That's what they want you to believe, but it's all lies. The old man pulled out a hidden data pad. On the screen were pictures Woo Jin had never seen before. Ships that looked human, but were sleek and powerful. Cities that were beautiful and advanced. People who looked proud and free. 300 years ago, humans had already developed faster than light travel, Professor Kang said. We were exploring space on our own. We had colonies on 12 different worlds. We were not primitive. Then what happened? The Dominion attacked us first. They were afraid of us because we were expanding so fast and learning so quickly. They used biological weapons to make us sick and weak. They destroyed our cities and our ships. Then they rewrote our history to make us believe we had always been inferior. Woo Jin stared at the pictures. Ships with human writing on them, space stations that humans had built, a whole civilization that had been erased from memory. They've been lying to us for 300 years, Professor Kang continued, making us believe we're lucky to serve them. But the truth is, they need us more than we need them. Engineer Minho nodded. He's right, Captain. I maintain their ships, their stations, their weapons. Most of the technology they use was originally designed by humans. They just put their names on it. Dr. Park So-min appeared at the entrance to the tunnel. She looked worried but excited. I've found something, she said breathlessly. Something big. She joined the group and pulled out her own datapad. I've been accessing classified Dominion files. Look at this. The screen showed a military report comparing different species in the Dominion Army. Humans were listed at the top of every category: problem-solving, adaptability, survival rate, mission success. We're not just equal to other species, Dr. Park said. We're better, much better. The Dominion has known this for decades, but they hide the reports. Why? Asked Ji-hai. Because they're terrified of us. Look at this section. She pointed to a part of the report that made everyone go quiet. It was titled, Recommendations for Human Population Control. They're not just keeping us weak, Dr. Park continued. They're actively trying to reduce our numbers. The dangerous missions, the acceptable casualties, the poor living conditions. It's all designed to keep the human population small. Woo Jin felt cold anger growing in his chest. They're trying to kill us slowly. Yes. And now they're taking our children to brainwash them into being perfect slaves. The group was silent for a moment. Then Taeho spoke up. So what do we do about it? Professor Kang looked around at everyone. We fight back, but not the way they expect. They think Deathworlders are just violent and stupid. They don't understand what living on a dangerous world really teaches you. What does it teach you? Asked Minho. Survival, adaptation, cooperation. On Earth, humans had to survive ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and countless other disasters. We learned to work together, to solve problems quickly, and to never give up. Dr. Park nodded. That's why we're so good at military missions. Not because we're violent, but because we're smart and we don't panic under pressure. Other species evolved on safe, peaceful worlds, Professor Kang added. They've never had to face real danger. They don't know how to handle chaos or unexpected problems. Ji-Hai looked excited. So when we fight back, we don't fight like they expect us to fight. Exactly, said Wu Jin, finally understanding. We fight smart. Minho held up his communicator. Again. I can shut down life support, gravity, and weapon systems on any station in this sector, all at the same time. I can coordinate with cargo pilots on 50 different worlds, Ji-Hai added. We can move people and supplies without the Dominion knowing. Dr. Park smiled. And I can access their computer systems to gather intelligence and spread information. Professor Kang looked proud. This is what humans do best. We adapt, we survive. We work together. Over the next hour, they made plans. Small acts of sabotage to test their abilities. Ways to spread information to other humans. Methods for rescuing captured children. As the meeting ended, Wu Jin felt something he hadn't felt in years, hope. There's one more thing, Dr. Park said as everyone prepared to leave. I intercepted a message yesterday. Other species are watching us. Some of them are planning their own rebellions, but they're waiting to see if humans will lead the way. What do you mean? Asked Tejo. I mean, we're not the only ones being oppressed. The Dominion has been cruel to many species. But everyone is afraid to be the first to fight back. Wu Jin understood. They want to see if the primitive Deathworlders are brave enough to start a real revolution. Yes. And if we succeed, they'll join us. The entire galaxy could be free. As the group separated and returned to their normal duties, Wu Jin felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. But for the first time since the children were taken, he also felt powerful. The aliens thought they were controlling dangerous primitives from a death world. They had no idea they were actually sitting on top of the most adaptable, most determined, and most intelligent species in the galaxy. Soon, they would learn the truth about what happens when Deathworlders stop playing. Nice. 2 weeks had passed since the secret meeting. Captain Li Wujin tried to act normal during the day, but at night he worked with the resistance. More humans joined them every day. Engineers, pilots, doctors, soldiers, even cooks and cleaners wanted to help. The network was growing fast, too fast. Wu Jin was in his quarters when his door chimed. Outside stood a tall human woman with the silver uniform of a high-ranking officer. He had never seen her before, but he knew who she was. Admiral Ryu Sung-min, she said quietly. May I come in? Wu Jin's heart raced. Admiral Ryu was the highest-ranking human in the entire Dominion military. If she was here to arrest him, the resistance was finished. Admiral, he said carefully, what can I do for you? She stepped inside and looked around his small room. Then she did something that shocked him. She pulled out one of Minho's secret communicators. Hello, Station 7, she said into the device. This is Fleet Command. I'm ready to join you. Wu Jin stared at her. You're one of us? Admiral Ryu smiled sadly. Captain, I've been one of us for 20 years. Someone had to stay in the I system to gather information and resources. What kind of resources? Ships, weapons, battle plans. The Dominion thinks they decommissioned 300 human-built vessels over the past decade. They were wrong. Those ships are hidden in dead space, fully repaired and ready for war. Wu Jin couldn't believe what he was hearing. You've been building a secret fleet? We've been building more than that. Sit down, Captain. There are things you need to know. For the next hour, Admiral Ryu told him secrets that changed everything. There were humans in high positions throughout the Dominion. Scientists, engineers, administrators, even some diplomats. All of them had been secretly working together for years. "We call ourselves the Shadow Network," she explained. "We've been preparing for the day when we could fight back safely, but recent events have forced our hand." "What events?" Admiral Ryu's face became dark. 3 days ago, a young technician named Onari intercepted a classified transmission while repairing communication arrays on the capital world. She discovered something terrible. The Admiral pulled out a data pad and showed Wu Jin a document marked Final Solution Protocol. "They're planning to kill all humans," she said quietly. "Not slowly like they've been doing, all at once. Complete genocide." Wu Jin read the document with growing horror. The Dominion planned to release a biological weapon that would kill every human in the galaxy within 6 months. Then they would replace humans with cloned copies that had no free will. "When?" he asked. "The protocol activates in 4 months. They're waiting until they have enough clones ready." Wu Jin felt sick. "Why are they doing this?" "Because they finally realized what we've known all along. Humans are too dangerous to keep alive. We're too smart, too adaptable, too difficult to control. They want slaves, not thinking beings." At that moment, the station's alarm system began blaring. Red lights flashed and the emergency speakers crackled to life. "All personnel report to main assembly hall immediately. Emergency announcement from the Dominion High Council." Wu Jin and Admiral Ryu looked at each other. Something big was happening. They joined thousands of other humans and aliens in the massive assembly hall. On the huge screen at the front, Archon, Velthar appeared. Behind him stood the other members of the High Council. Tall, cold aliens who looked at the crowd like they were looking at insects. "Citizens of the Dominion," Velthar began in his mechanical voice. "Today, we demonstrate the price of disobedience." The screen changed to show a planet Wu Jin recognized, New Terra, one of the largest human colonies. Millions of people lived there, mostly families of human workers. Yesterday, human workers on New Terra refused to meet production quotas. Velthar continued. They demanded shorter work hours and better food. This rebellion cannot be allowed to spread. Wu Jin's blood turned cold. He knew what was coming. Therefore, the High Council has decided to make an example. All human civilians on New Terra will be executed as traitors to the Dominion. The screen showed Dominion warships surrounding the planet. Then it showed the unthinkable. The ships firing on cities full of innocent people. Buildings exploded. People ran in panic. Children screamed. The humans in the assembly hall watched in horror as 10,000 of their people were murdered in front of their eyes. Mothers, fathers, grandparents, children, all killed to send a message. "Let this be a lesson," Velthar said as the destruction continued. "Humans exist to serve. Any who forget this will share the same fate." When the transmission ended, the assembly hall was completely silent. Then, slowly, a sound began to build. It started as a whisper, then became a murmur, then grew into something Wu Jin had never heard before. Thousands of humans all making the same sound at the same time. It wasn't crying. It wasn't shouting. It was something deeper and more frightening. It was the sound of a species that had been pushed too far. Admiral Ryu leaned close to Wu Jin's ear. "It's time," she whispered. That night, the resistance met. In the largest maintenance tunnel on the station, over 200 humans crowded into the space. Word had spread quickly. Everyone wanted to know what they were going to do. Wu Jin stood on a crate so everyone could see him. "You all saw what happened today. 10,000 innocent people murdered to make us afraid." Angry voices filled the tunnel. "They killed children," someone shouted. "My sister lived on New Terra," cried another. "We have to do something." Wu Jin raised his hand for quiet. "We are going to do something. But first you need to understand what we're really fighting." Dr. Park So-min stepped forward. "The Dominion has been lying to us for 300 years. We're not primitive Deathworlders. We're the most advanced species they've ever encountered. They destroyed our civilization because they were afraid of us." Professor Kang Dongsu spoke next. They've been slowly killing us for decades because they know that if humans ever realized our true strength, their empire would crumble. Engineer Choi Minho held up his tools. They depend on us for everything. We built their stations, we maintain their ships, we fix their weapons. Without us, their technology stops working. Pilot Yoon Ji-hee added, "And we're not alone. Humans, on hundreds of worlds, are ready to fight. Other species are watching us, waiting to see if we're brave enough to lead a rebellion." Admiral Ryu stepped into the light. Many of the humans gasped. They had never seen such a high-ranking officer, in person. "I have ships," she said simply. 300 warships hidden and ready. I have weapons. I have battle plans. What I need is soldiers brave enough to use them. The tunnel erupted in cheers and shouts. "When do we start?" someone called out. "Admiral." Ryu looked at Wu Jin. He looked around at the faces of his people, mechanics and doctors, pilots and cooks, young and old, all united in their anger and determination. He thought about the children who had been taken. He thought about the families destroyed on New Terra. He thought about 300 years of lies and oppression. Captain Lee Wu Jin made the decision that would change the galaxy forever. "We start now," he said. "Today, we stop playing by their rules. Today we show them what happens when you push Deathworlders too far." The cheers that followed could be heard 3 levels away. But for the first time in months, Wu Jin wasn't worried about the noise. Let the aliens hear them coming. It was time to remind the galaxy what humans were really capable of when they stopped pretending to be weak. The attack began at exactly midnight station time. Engineer Choi Minho sat in the main power control room, his fingers moving across control panels he had maintained for 10 years. Around him, alien technicians worked their normal night shift, unaware that everything was about to change. "Power grid offline in 3, 2, 1. Minho whispered into his hidden communicator. Across 47 different Dominion installations, the lights went out. Captain Lee Wu Jin stood in the armory with 50 human soldiers. When the power died, emergency lighting cast red shadows on their faces. They had been waiting for this moment. "Go," he said simply. The soldiers moved like ghosts through the darkened corridors. They knew every passage, every room, every hiding place. They had cleaned these halls, repaired these walls, lived in these spaces for years. The aliens who ruled them had never bothered to learn the layout of their own stations. On the command deck, Archon Velthar was shouting orders in the darkness. "Restore power immediately. Where are the backup generators?" "Sir," an alien technician replied nervously. "The backup systems aren't responding. Everything is offline. Get the human maintenance crews, they'll know how to fix it." But the human maintenance crews were busy with other tasks. Dr. Park So-min was in the medical bay, working quickly in the red emergency light. She had spent 2 weeks preparing special injections, a counter-agent that would neutralize the biological weapon the Dominion had been using to keep humans weak and obedient. "Hold still," she told the human orderly as she gave him the injection. "This might hurt for a few minutes, but then you'll feel stronger than you have in years." The orderly's eyes went wide as the drug took effect. "Doctor, I can think so clearly. It's like a fog has been lifted from my mind." "That's exactly what it is," Dr. Park said, preparing the next injection. "Now help me wake up our people." 3 levels below, Commander Kim Tae-ho led a team through the detention centers where human children were being held. The locks on the cells were electronic, and with the power out, they opened easily. "It's okay," he told a frightened little girl. "We're here to take you home." The child looked up at him with wide eyes. "Are you really going to save us?" "Yes," Tae-ho said, picking her up. "The bad dreams are over." Meanwhile, high above the station, something impossible was happening in space. Admiral Ryu Sung-min stood on the bridge of the warship Korean Thunder, watching 300 human vessels drop out of hyperspace around the Dominion fleet. The alien ships were caught completely by surprise. "Admiral," her communications officer reported, "the Dominion fleet is requesting identification." Admiral Ryu smiled coldly. "Tell them we are the human fleet they thought they had destroyed. Tell them we've come to collect what's ours." The alien. Fleet commander's voice came over the radio, confused and afraid. Human Admiral, your ships were decommissioned years ago. How is this possible? You made a mistake, Admiral Ryu replied. You assumed that when humans said ships were destroyed, we were telling you the truth. We've been hiding these vessels and improving them for 20 years. She looked at her tactical display. The human ships surrounded the alien fleet completely. Now you have a choice. Surrender or discover what human military engineering can really do. The alien commander made the wrong choice. All ships opened fire on the human rebels. What happened next shocked everyone, including the humans. The alien. Weapons struck human shields and simply bounced off. The human ships had been rebuilt with new technology, armor that could absorb energy and redirect it, shields that grew stronger under attack. But the human weapons were something entirely different. When the Korean Thunder fired its main cannon, the blast didn't just destroy one alien ship. It went through that ship and destroyed two more behind it. The weapon had been designed by human engineers who understood that alien ships were built for show, not for real combat. Impossible, the alien commander screamed. Your weapons are primitive. Our old weapons were primitive, Admiral Ryu said, calmly. These are new. Back on the station, the revolution was spreading faster than anyone had expected. Pilot Yoon Ji-hee was in the hangar bay with a team of mechanics. They were not just stealing ships, they were improving them as they worked. Remove the safety limits on the engines, she ordered. Aliens fly slowly because they're afraid of crashing, humans aren't. Ma'am, one mechanic asked. Won't that make the ships dangerous? Ji-hee grinned. That's the point. We're from a death world, remember? Dangerous is what we do best. Professor. Kang Dong-soo was in the communication center, broadcasting a message to every world in the Dominion. People of the galaxy, his voice carried across space. Today you learn the truth about humanity. We are not primitive. We are not weak. For 300 years the Dominion has lied to you and to us. Today the lies end. He played recordings of Dominion officials admitting they feared human intelligence. He showed documents proving the planned genocide. He revealed the true history of human civilization. Other species of the galaxy, Professor Kang continued. You have a choice. Join us in freedom or remain slaves to those who see you as expendable. On dozens of worlds, non-human species began their own rebellions. The message spread like fire through space. But the real shock came when humans finally stopped holding back their true nature. Wu Jin was leading his team through the command deck when they encountered Dominion guards. The aliens expected a normal firefight, humans hiding behind cover, trading shots slowly and carefully. Instead, the humans moved like liquid death. They used tactics the aliens had never seen. They appeared from impossible angles. They coordinated, without speaking. They turned the aliens' own environment against them. Where are they? One alien guard screamed as humans seemed to vanish and reappear like ghosts. Everywhere, Wu Jin said, stepping out of a ventilation shaft behind the alien. We built this place, we know it better than you do. The battle for the command deck lasted 3 minutes. When it was over, every alien guard was unconscious and no humans were seriously injured. Archon Velthar found himself surrounded by the humans he had ruled for years. But these were not the same defeated creatures he remembered. Their eyes were clear and intelligent. They moved with confidence and purpose. This is impossible, he said. You're just Deathworlders, primitive beings from a savage world. Dr. Park So-min stepped forward, holding a data pad. Actually, let me explain what Deathworlders really are. She showed him images of Earth, hurricanes that could destroy cities, earthquakes that split the ground, volcanoes that darkened the sky, ice ages that lasted thousands of years. You're right, she said. We are from a death world. Do you know what that means? It means we're the survivors of a planet that tried to kill us for millions of years. It means we learned to adapt, to think quickly, to work together, and to never give up. She showed him more images. Humans building cities after earthquakes, growing food in frozen wastelands, crossing oceans in small boats, reaching for the stars despite every obstacle. Other species evolved on safe, peaceful worlds, Dr. Park continued. You never had to face real danger. You never learned what survival actually means. Velthar looked around at the humans surrounding him. For the first time, he saw them clearly. These weren't primitive savages. They were the product of millions of years of surviving the impossible. What do you want? He asked. Captain Wu Jin stepped forward. We want our children back. We want our freedom. And we want you to understand that the age of human slavery is over. And if we refuse? Wu Jin smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. Then you'll discover what happens when the most dangerous species in the galaxy stops pretending to be harmless. Reports were coming in from across the sector. Human rebellions on every world. Alien fleets surrendering rather than fight human ships. Entire systems declaring independence from the Dominion. The empire that had ruled for 800 years was crumbling in a single day, and it was crumbling because they had made one fatal mistake. They had convinced themselves that their victims were weak when in reality, they had been restraining the strongest force in the galaxy. The age of human slavery was ending. The age of human freedom was about to begin. 1 month later, Captain Li Wu-jin stood on the observation deck of the space station that had once been his prison. But everything was different now. The red emergency lights had been replaced with warm, natural lighting. The cold metal walls now had pictures drawn by children, their children who were home safe. Through the large windows, he could see ships from dozens of different species arriving and departing peacefully. Trade ships, exploration vessels, diplomatic transports. The galaxy was learning what cooperation looked like. Captain, Commander Kim Tae-ho said, approaching with a datapad. The final surrender documents have arrived. Wu-jin took the pad and read the message. The Dominion High Council was officially dissolving itself. The last of their fleets had surrendered 3 days ago. 800 years of empire had ended, not with a massive final battle, but with a simple realization. They could not fight the entire galaxy. Any word from the delegation on the capital world? Wu Jin asked. Ambassador Go Hyunwoo reports complete success. The transition government is already working. Aliens and humans sitting at the same table, making decisions together. Wu Jin smiled. Ambassador Go had been one of their greatest surprises. For years he had worked as a low-level human diplomat, ignored by the alien leadership. But when the revolution began, they discovered he knew more about Dominion politics than most of the aliens did. He says the former council members are actually relieved, Tae-ho continued. Many of them were tired of the constant fear and control. They want to try this new way of living. It had been shocking how quickly the Dominion collapsed once humans stopped playing by their rules. The empire had been built on fear and lies, and when the truth came out, everything fell apart. Dr. Park So-min entered the observation deck, carrying a small device that beeped regularly. The last of the biological suppressants have been cleared. From the atmosphere, she announced. All humans in this sector are now thinking clearly for the first time in their lives. The biological weapons had been the Dominion's most evil tool. For 3 centuries, they had kept a low-level poison in the air that made humans feel tired, confused, and hopeless. Removing it had been like watching millions of people wake up from a long nightmare. How are people adjusting? Wu Jin asked. Better than expected. Once humans realized how intelligent they really were, they started solving problems we thought were impossible. Food shortages, housing issues, transportation problems. Everything is getting fixed faster than we can keep track. Engineer Choi Minho appeared in the doorway, his clothes dirty from work but his face happy. Captain, you need to see something. They followed him to the main engineering section. The room buzzed with activity as humans and aliens worked together. On a massive project. What is this? Wu Jin asked. Minho grinned. A new type of space drive. The aliens had the basic theory, but they could never make it work. Turns out they were missing human engineering principles. An alien technician, one of the few who had stayed to help after the revolution, looked up from his work. Captain, I must apologize. We never understood how remarkable human problem-solving abilities really are. In 1 month, your people have advanced our technology by decades. Our technology, corrected Dr. Lee Jae Sung, a scientist who had been hidden in the Dominion research labs. We're all working together now. It was true. Once the barriers between species were removed, amazing things started happening. Alien. Theoretical knowledge combined with human practical skills was creating innovations no one had imagined possible. Pilot Yoon-ji Hae walked in, still wearing her flight suit. She had been leading the exploration missions to contact isolated worlds. "Captain, I have news from the Outer Rim territories," she said. 17 more systems want to join the new alliance. They're calling it the Galactic Freedom Coalition. Any resistance? None. Word has spread about what happened here. Most planets are celebrating. The few Dominion loyalists left are hiding or fleeing to unknown space. Professor Kang Dong-soo entered with a group of young aliens and humans. "Captain, I wanted you to meet our first integrated class." The children looked up at Wu Jin with bright, curious eyes. Human children stood next to alien children, all of them learning together. "What are you studying today?" Wu Jin asked. A human girl raised her hand. "We're learning about different planets and how species adapt to survive." Professor Kang says, "That's why humans are so good at solving problems, because Earth was really hard to live on." An alien child added, "And we're learning that being different makes us stronger when we work together." Professor Kang smiled proudly. "These children will grow up in a galaxy where no species is considered superior or inferior. They'll judge each other by character and capability, not by what planet they come from." Admiral Ryu Sung-min arrived with Captain Seo Yoon-hae, who had commanded one of the liberation fleets. "Captain Wu Jin, we have a proposal for you." "What kind of proposal?" "The new government is forming a galactic defense force," Admiral Ryu explained, "not to conquer or control, but to protect the freedom we've won. They want you to help lead it." Captain Seo added, "We've learned that there are other empires beyond Dominion space. Some of them might try to take advantage of the transition." Period. Wu Jin thought about it. "What would be different about this military?" "Everything," Admiral Ryu said. "No species would be forced to serve. No one would be considered expendable. And the primary mission would be protection, not conquest." "We're calling it the Guardian Fleet," Captain Seo said. "Ships designed to defend, not attack. Crews from all species working together." Dr. Park So-min looked excited. "Imagine what we could accomplish with human adaptability, alien knowledge, and shared goals." Through the windows, Wu Jin could see construction ships building a new type of space station. It was designed for families, with schools and parks and recreational areas, a place where different species could live together safely. "There's something else," Commander Taeho said quietly. "We've received a message from Earth." Everyone went silent. Earth had been cut off from the galaxy for centuries, used only as a prison world for humans who caused too much trouble. "What did they say?" Taeho smiled. "They said welcome home." Apparently humans on Earth never stopped developing technology. They've been waiting for the day when their children could return to the stars. Wu Jin felt tears in his eyes. For 300 years humans had been told they were orphans from a dead world. Now they learned their home had been waiting for them all along. "They're sending ships," Taeho continued. "New designs based on 3 centuries of independent development. They want to help build the new galaxy." A year later, Wu Jin stood in the same observation deck, but now he wore the uniform of a Guardian Fleet admiral. Through the windows he could see the impossible. Dozens of different species working together on projects that benefited everyone. Space station designed by alien architects and built with human engineering housed the new Galactic Council. Research ships crewed by multiple species were exploring previously unknown regions of space. Trade fleets carried goods between worlds that had never been allowed to communicate before. His daughter ran up to him, holding hands with her best friend, a young alien girl with blue skin and silver eyes. "Daddy, look what we made in school," she said, showing him a model starship. "It's designed to explore new worlds and make friends with new species." The alien child added excitedly, "My mom helped with the navigation systems, and her dad helped with the engines." Wu Jin knelt down to admire their work. It's beautiful. Are you going to be explorers when you grow up? Yes, both children said together. We want to find new friends among the stars. As the children ran back to their play, Woojin reflected on how much had changed. The galaxy that had once been ruled by fear was now guided by hope. Species that had been enemies were now partners. Children who had been raised to hate each other were now growing up as friends. Commander Tejo joined him at the window. Do you ever miss the old days? The days when we were slaves? When children were taken from their families? When entire worlds lived in fear? When you put it like that, no. Woojin watched a ship launch from the station, an exploration vessel, crewed by humans and aliens, heading out to make first contact with a newly discovered species. The Dominion was right about one thing, he said. Humans are dangerous. We're dangerous to tyrants, dangerous to lies, dangerous to anyone who thinks they can keep other people in chains. And now? Now the galaxy is learning that the most dangerous thing you can do to oppressors is show their victims what freedom looks like. In the distance, a new ship was arriving. It bore the flag of Earth, the blue and green world that had given birth to the species that changed everything. The ship's message was broadcasting across all frequencies. This is Earth calling, we're home. The age of human slavery was over. The age of galactic freedom had begun, and it had all started the day that Deathworlders stopped playing nice.